Hello, good evening and welcome to the Final Word. Phoning with me, Majestic, alongside former Premier League striker Troy Deeney. We just watched Arsenal down to St James's Park and getting a win. Played well-created chances, picked up 3 points after scoring 2 late goals, and yes, the winner came from a corner. The big win against Newcastle means that they eat into Liverpool's 5-point lead to give their title hopes a big boost. A lot of happy Gooners on the way home from St James's Park. We want to hear from you. And we still cannot ignore the penalty shouts, big calls that could have swung it either way. But the Gunners still come away delighted with all 3 points. Meanwhile, Aston Villa feel like a side going places. A 3-1 win over Fulham. Watkins and McGinn delivering again. And suddenly Villa Park is starting to believe. Plenty to debate, plenty to dissect. And with Troy in the studio, you know Arsenal are in the firing line. And it's not just football serving up drama this weekend. The Ryder Cup's been spicy too, and full of tension and needle, and that's just from the spectators. We'll keep you across it through the night. And remember, talkSPORT is bigger than ever. You can watch us on your YouTube or smart TV, so come and watch us from our fantastic new studio on the 17th floor here at News UK. But now it's all about you and your views. Call us right now, 03717 22 3344. It's the Final Word with Imagine Troy. That's right, Majestic and Troy Deeney back together once again. The deadliest duo since Wiley and Dizzy Rascal, or Liam and Noel. It's the comeback they all wanted, especially the Arsenal fans, who tonight go home with a big victory, Troy. That's a big statement win.
Yeah, it's a huge win. That's let's call it right. When Liverpool were doing that last week and the weeks before, we were saying that's the winning mentality. So you got to give Arsenal credit. I think it was a game that to and fro. There was big moments. We spoke about it before we came on here. The penalty for me on Gyökeres is a penalty. I don't care whether Pope's got a little touch on that. His knee then stops him from getting onto it, which he probably would have rolled into an empty net. So for me, that was a penalty. I also think Gabriel got away with one as well. Yeah. That one with the hand in the air. I know it touched his leg, but that hand's very, very high in the air with the new rules. But again, Arsenal kept going to the end. I think some of the decisions from Newcastle, Mickey Gray spoke about there, but I think the injury to Livramento forces them to go 5 at the back, forces them to camp in, and Arsenal just kept going. So really, really good. And, I've been there as a player. Gabriel, I thought, was poor today, especially for that first goal for Newcastle. But you nick a winner and no one cares. On to the next one. So all these Arsenal fans that are going to be phoning up, I'm ready for you.
03717 223344 is that phone number. And Market Wayne's already done it. Let's go straight to Wayne. How are we, Wayne?
Hello, boys. You okay?
You must be buzzing.
Right.
Oh, what a day. What a day.
Great weekend for you, wasn't it, with everyone dropping points?
I'll tell you, and I was sat there watching the game with my brother, and I thought we were going down the same road. I honestly thought we were. It was the same old giving up the big chance, but that's a massive swing, that result.
Yeah, absolutely. Do you see that? Because I was just saying there, I think we look at that right as title winners. That's mentality, winning like that, getting it done when you've not played well, just getting the job done. Is there an air of caution now, though, to not get too over the top?
I think Arsenal of the previous years would have settled for a draw. I think they would have put that much. You could see it when Mourinho ran off celebrating. Half the team didn't go with him, and I think he realised. And instead of doing his little run around the flag, he ran straight back with the team. So I think that's a big change in us this season.
Yeah. Although Arteta's substitution did look like he tried to shore things up once they got that goal.
The thing is, his substitutions are always going to be under scrutiny because he put Moreno on first and then Odegaard on second. If Moreno doesn't score, he's going negative. But because he scores, it's a positive change. Listen, the fine lines of being a manager is very, very difficult. I think we have to give Arteta the credit this time because last week he was getting crucified, wasn't he, for being too defensive, and he started with Eze today, and they look miles better. Would you agree? Wayne?
Definitely.
Yeah.
As you say, the calls he made today, they panned off. On another day, we'd be saying the opposite, wouldn't we? So, but yeah, you've got to give him praise when praise is due. So he's still the man for me, anyway.
Brilliant stuff. Thank you very much, Wayne. Let's go to a Newcastle fan. Steve joins us on the final word. Steve, disappointed?
Very lads. That probably wasn't my best performance at home, but listen, we're done enough, and I think that penalty decision at the end is absolutely just shows the Premier League that big six biased again. There's no way his hand's in a natural position.
No, I completely agree. Yours should have been a penalty. But what did you think of the Gyökeres one in the first half?
I'll be totally honest. At first, I thought it was a penalty, but on looking at it, Pope gets his footed and he can't move anywhere else. Wins the ball. Gyökeres runs into him. So, probably won them 50-50.
So both should have been penalties.
I probably won it. As a defending team, I'm happy with Pope what he's done, but the second one, Gabriel, absolutely undefensible. I think the Premier League need to come out and admit that as well.
Yeah, Steve, I just want to ask. You mentioned Nick Pope there. He has the ball just before that, before the corner that he ends up flapping at. He's just got to have a little bit of game management there, a little bit of nous. So just don't. He tries to set Elanga away. It's 4v1 in Arsenal's favour. Turns the ball over, and then compounds that error by trying to come out and win a ball he can never get. Is that? No. Are you looking at him now as to like his part of the reason why you lost today?
I mean, that's harsh considering the saves he did make.
Yeah, I agree. But games are won in small moments, right?
They are, yeah. But if you look at that ball he's kicked out as well at the end that you're talking about, there is a little pull on his arm as well. that probably goes another way. If that's David Raya, he probably gets that foul at the Emirates. So again, it's coming up every week where these big clubs seem to get away with it. But look, the lads, they've put a good shift in. Walter Matty's took his goal well. Gabriel's soft again, claiming for fouls. Arsenal constantly, little hands on the back, on the floor, looking for pens, looking for fouls. They're just constant. And Arteta needs reined in. He's constantly out the box. He's constantly on the pitch. He needs reined in him. He really does. He's spoiling the game for most.
Do you think, the changes on 65 minutes? Because I thought there were strange changes, but is Eddie looking ahead to Wednesday? And because you don't have Visser available at the moment, you've got a few injuries, is he happy to manage the load of a Gordon? Does that make sense?
Yeah, definitely. Potentially is, yeah. But I think you've got to manage that with what you've got, And I wouldn't 100% wouldn't blame Eddie Howe for that today. I know there's some Newcastle fans on X and they do, but I think they're silly personally.
Yeah.
Probably some of them haven't played the game. But you've got to manage what you've got.
Yeah, this is a big game this week. The decisions probably cost with, big games. And I'm proud of the lads today. They've done a good job of what they had. Few decisions, but Arsenal probably were stronger. You do hold your hands up, and they were probably the stronger team. But I would have liked to get something from it, and probably the decisions from the VAR ref probably cost me personally. But, brilliant, cool. Thank you very much, Steve, the Newcastle fan there. Listen, Newcastle fans, are you disappointed with that one? And Arsenal fans, gone to St James's Park, a place notoriously difficult for you, and got the job done. Walking away from St James's Park this evening tonight, that long journey home.
That'll be positive.
There's going to be a lot of Arsenal. I've got a lot of friends who've made the journey up as well. Mm-hmm. Are you walking away from St James's Park tonight, seeing Liverpool drop points yesterday, seeing the way and the manner that you won? And again, me and Troy will hold our hands up when we say people get the late winners, and that's what champions do. Is that the feeling you get tonight? That tonight, especially at St James's Park, a place where you've gone time after time when you've needed results and failed. Tonight, you didn't fail. You got the 3 points. Arsenal, title contenders for sure. But does tonight's result push you even further on with that belief? 03 717 223344. Me and Troy Deeney will be here to take your calls on the final word. you, yeah. So I want to kiss myself. Aye. The late, great James Brown, who I could never think of without thinking of that Eddie Murphy stand-up. You can't, can you?
No.
Eddie Murphy's James Brown was better than James Brown. Living in America, of course, we are talking about America because we're going to be talking all things Ryder Cup. Before we get back to your calls, there's a huge event going on across the pond as Europe battles for the USA for one of the biggest prizes in golf. And here, with all the latest, is talkSPORT Sean O'Brien.
Ryder Cup update on talkSPORT with Arnold Clark. Get the UK's best used car deals, guaranteed.
Yes, it's Europe 12, USA 5. Europe currently lead in 5 matches in the Sunday singles. Tommy Fleetwood, Matt Fitzpatrick, Ludwig Oberg, Sepp Straka and Tyrrell Hatton have all put blue on the board early doors. Fitzpatrick is playing sensational golf. He's 5 up through 7 holes against Bryson DeChambeau, which feels particularly significant because Europe only need 2 points here to retain the Ryder Cup. Justin Thomas just holed out from the fairway against Fleetwood to give the crowd something to cheer about. Haven't been many of those moments this week for the Americans. Cam Young, Xander Schauffele and Ben Griffin have put a bit of red on the board. But Europe are going to win this. It really is just a question of how many. For the third day running, it's all Europe once again. It's really sucked the life out of Bethpage Black. You could honestly hear a pin drop in some of these matches. The Americans seem to reserve all of their abuse for Rory McIlroy. He's all square in his match with Scotty Scheffler. But Europe lead in 5. The Americans are up in 3. 2 matches tied. And it remains Europe 12, USA 5.
Brilliant stuff. Thank you very much, Sean. We're going to keep you updated throughout the show on the Ryder Cup. Oh, it's been brilliant. It's been brilliant. All that banner that they've been given as well to Europe. It's oh mate, honestly, I'm absolutely chuffed. Been watching it in the studio at the moment. I've got to say, it's been phenomenal goal from Europe. Scotty Scheffler. That's got to be one of the biggest flops in Ryder Cup history going into this, surely. He's not delivered, is he? 03717 223344. The people that delivered tonight, though, were Arsenal.
Mm-hmm.
And you've got to doff the cap. I'll take mine off, but my hair looks awful. Well, what I've got left of it. But listen, Arsenal fans, how you feeling about Arteta tonight? He's finally gone to St James's Park. The process has been trusted, and 3 points are yours, making you 2 points behind Liverpool as they lost at Selhurst Park yesterday. Got to say, Palace were brilliant yesterday.
Very, very good. Very good. I was watching it on the iPad while I was at the Chelsea game. Do you know what? Glasner's so underrated. So underrated. I remember when he came in and he obviously didn't have a great start to last season.
Man United looking at him, surely?
Definitely. When you look at, again, it's not the system there, is it, at Palace? It's never the system's fault, but they've recruited for that. They've got the right players. He's in control. It just looks really, really good. Really good.
Let's go over to an Arsenal fan. Stephen joins us. Good evening, Stephen.
Oh, evening. Hello.
How are you feeling, mate?
Yeah, I don't know. Remember I called up last week. Unforgivable. Remember me?
Yeah.
Yeah. A lot more pragmatic this week, I must say. And I think to win the league, you've got to beat the dross. You've got to beat these mid-table teams who put 10 behind the ball, every trick in the book.
You're not saying that about the Toon Army, are you, Stephen?
Yeah, well, you had a Newcastle fan on before complaining about the big clubs. Well, that's their mentality, and obviously not a big club. So, yeah, would have been a travesty if we hadn't won today. I mean, we were up against, well, I won't go into the referee too much. We're up against 12, though. But very pragmatic, positive substitutions. This is the team you probably should have played last week, but I'll let him off.
Agree with that.
But definitely the sort of game, you know what I mean, you champions win. So, yeah, I mean, I was critical of Arteta last week. I think he's seen the light a bit. He's not been, he's not deaf and blind, is he? So he's listened to what the criticism was, and he's worked it out this week.
Stephen,
so, yeah,
just on that, sorry to interrupt you. Obviously, we was in there last week, and again, critical. I think Eze opens up so much for Arsenal because he shoots from the edge of the box. Odegaard's a fantastic player, always looking to slip and slide people in. But when Eze hits those shots in the first half, great saves from Nick Pope, it now makes Newcastle have to come out to him, and then it allows Saka, it allows Gyökeres to look better for those little slip balls. I think Eze was excellent for you today.
Yeah.
Definitely, all along the front line as well, all over the pitch. Whenever he gets the ball, he's dangerous, so he can go both ways.
And you've got that threat. You've seen it with Declan Rice. And the threat of Declan Rice and that delivery. That guy's delivery, he should be out there on the Ryder Cup. His right foot, he's got it all in the locker. You know what? Today, Stephen, I must admit, as a Spurs fan, watching Eze play, I was so jealous. Because watching Spurs yesterday, he's the exact player that we missed against Wolves yesterday. And having someone like him in your armoury, I said it when you got him, he could be the difference of you winning the league, Stephen. But like we said last week, he needs to play.
Yeah, definitely. Just in between the midfield and the attack, just those pockets of space. Whenever he gets the ball, he's always looking positive, always looking for the forward pass, always looking to shoot. He must be a nightmare to try and mark as well because, as I say, he's all along the front line, and he's so. Yeah, absolutely a difference from what we had last season.
Are you feeling confident to win the league now, Stephen? Seeing Liverpool can be beaten?
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, it looks like it's going to be up to us really to chase Liverpool. I'm not seeing anyone else putting up many trees really. You know what I mean?
Well, I'm still not. We can't work out City yet because of that game yesterday. Yeah. It's hard to work out. Another couple of games and we'll see if City are in that mix. But it's definitely Arsenal and Liverpool, isn't it? Because Chelsea definitely ain't there. You was at Chelsea yesterday.
Yeah, I don't think Chelsea there. We're going to get into Chelsea a little bit later, but I think we're so flip-floppy with Arsenal. Maybe it's because you fans, Stephen, call in all the time, but last week we were all down on them. This week they're now going to win the league. I still think we just got to wait and see. Just wait and see because we don't know what Liverpool are yet. They keep nicking the games, and that's obviously the mentality which we're giving Arsenal credit for today. But my thing with Arsenal is if they play like that with the handbrake off, and they allow their forward players to go and flourish, they're still going to be solid at the back. They're still going to be a nuisance from set pieces. But let your Eze shine. Let your Saka shine. Madueke as well when he comes back. And I think they could be the best team in the league. And that's always been my frustration. Just go and let them off the leash. Go and let them win. And today we saw that.
Absolutely. Great call. Thank you very much, Stephen. 03717 223344 is the number to call. Over on talkSPORT 2 right now, it's a night of NFL action, including the Jacksonville Jaguars taking on the San Francisco 49ers. Whilst we want to hear your opinion on another huge Premier League game as Arsenal come away with 3 points from St. James's Park. Is this the performance of champions? And Newcastle fans, do you feel hard done by? Lots of you are thinking you should have had a penalty. But Arsenal fans are feeling the same as well. 03717 223344, and we'll hear from you next on The Final Word.
do you get when some of the most individual sports stars club together? Well, a melting pot of history, tension, rivalry, friendship and elite stories. Here are some of the best off-camera anecdotes from the Ryder Cup. Number 1, Tigers loo roll. The protagonist, Lee Westwood's former caddy, Billy Foster, said in a toilet cubicle at the Belfry. As he went to relieve his first morning nerves, Foster noticed only one of the 2 cubicles had loo roll, and while he was seated, in came a tiger into the empty cubicle, and he realised his mistake all too late. So Foster took some paper, reached under the cubicle with a rescue offering, and as Tiger went to take it, Foster uttered the words, "Europe, 1 up." As it happened, Europe did go on to win. Fast forward 10 years to the miraculous Medina, when, after a gruelling Saturday, Rory McIlroy overslept on the Sunday and was in danger of missing his tee time. Thankfully for him, the person booking player transport was Erica Stoll. She sorted him a police escort to the course. 3 years later, McIlroy proposed in Paris. The next story is told by Scottish legend Sam Torrance about the great Seve, who apparently despised the Americans mainly because of a diminutive US reporter who kept calling him Steve.
Hey, my name is Severiano or Seve. It's no Steve, it's no Steve. Next day, Steve.
Torrance also tells of how Seve regularly gave coaching clinics to his European teammates, but a week later at the Italian Open, when the same players asked for advice, Seve would tell them to and see you next year. Having started with a Billy Foster story, let's finish with one from the 12th tee at Oakland Hills in 2004. It was Jimenez and Garcia against Westwood and Clark in a practice round, and as they finished, Foster decided to jump in the buggy and speed away with all their clubs, only to lose control entirely and tumble onto the course and see it careering towards the spectators. Thankfully, the Red Sea parted and the buggy smashed into a tree, with viewers and clubs still intact.
Good evening and welcome to the Final Word Phone with me, Majestic, alongside the bagsman, Troy Deeney, in a weekend where Mikel Arteta's process was trusted and they delivered a huge 3 points at St James's Park to move within 2 points of table toppers Liverpool. Arsenal fans, was this the performance of champions you wanted to see from Arteta's men? I'm getting dug out as a Spurs fan, by the way, on my Spurs group. What are you talking up Arsenal for? I say what I see.
Gotta call it fair.
Call it fair. We said it before with Liverpool, and they weren't playing well and they won. Someone actually just said to me, an ex, but you can't compare our win today with Liverpool's start. Liverpool haven't been playing well and won. We played well today and won. Well, that makes it even more impressive that Liverpool still won. But we can't ignore the penalty shouts, and lots of Newcastle fans are fuming that you didn't get a penalty late on in the game. Come and let us know what you thought. 03 717 2233 44. Talking of a Fister encounter, we'll be heading back across to New York to get all the latest from the Ryder Cup as the final round heats up in a very, very vocal crowd. Remember, talkSPORT is now on your smart TV. Just grab the app on Android TV and Google TV. We're even on Prime Video as well, so come and watch us in our brilliant new studio. It's now all about you and your final words. 03 717 2233 44. Myself, Majestic, and Troy Deeney here to take your calls on the final word. Phone in on talkSPORT. Right, let's go back to the phone lines. Let's go over to Leslie, who's an Arsenal fan. How are we, Leslie?
We're all good here, thank you very much, Naj. Hope you're okay.
Yeah, mate, listen, like I said, that was a very impressive win for me. Going to St James's Park late on, being a goal down, and I'd be rightly fuming not getting a penalty as well. So today, that was a big mentality shift for me for Arsenal.
Well, yeah, I keep hearing about this mentality shift, and sometimes I just wonder what the media are going on about in terms of that. I mean,
do elaborate, Leslie. Talk to me.
Well, there's two things. There's the penalty for today that was disallowed, and there was the Liverpool game. I'll try and be as quick as possible. First of all, the pen today. How can anybody who's played the game, I understand you, Madge, not really necessarily wanting to give that one, but Troy Deeney, I would expect better of you. You're a striker. You go through on goal. The guy touches, whether the keeper touches the ball or not is absolutely irrelevant. The boy brought him down. He virtually clotheslined
Leslie,
him.
I don't think you've been listening, mate. I said exactly the same as what you're talking about, so...
Right, well, you were going on about earlier on, I'm sure you were going on about whether it was a penalty or whether it wasn't.
No, I said it was a penalty. So, again, if you're going to come for me, mate, please listen. But no problem, carry on.
I've been listening all
carry
the time. But the bigger point is there is no way that anybody that's watched any football at any level could disallow that.
I agree. That. Would you say the same about the one on Gabriel?
Look, unless you're on a blooming Magaluf sort of holiday slide, you're going to have your hands above your head. I think that was a quite natural thing. Nobody's going to jump down or slide into a tackle who's played any sort of football at all without having their arms in the position that he had. He went with a perfectly fair challenge. He's put his foot forward, gone in, and the ball's come up. And it's, at some point, this law actually drives me nuts.
I agree.
That one and not putting the ball in the D at corner, but that's another story. But that law for giving penalties or disallowing penalties or whatever when the ball is either one kicked at the player or two hits the player on the arms, he's going in. He's got to go in with intent. We pay these boys a lot of money to stop goals going in, so they're going to go in. Now, nobody in the world that I've ever seen that plays the game to any kind of level sellotapes their arms together and makes a sliding tackle just with their feet.
Yeah, no, I take you on that point. I just wonder if it was the other way round, would you want that penalty? If you're being totally honest.
Of course, I wouldn't want the penalty, but I couldn't argue with the penalty.
But that's half the problem, isn't it? I think what I was trying to say earlier was that when Gyökeres goes round, it's irrelevant whether Nick Pope gets a touch on it because the knee stops Gyökeres from getting onto the ball. That's what I was saying earlier. So then that would, even if it's not a penalty for that, it's a penalty because he stops him from putting it into an empty net. So that's why it would be a penalty for me. But I also think whenever you're in a situation that you want it both ways, I think you have to say that they're both fouls. Because if it was the other way around, I would be wanting that penalty if it was against my team.
No. You can't do that because they're two different challenges.
But you just said you'd want it as well. If it was for Arsenal, you'd want that, right?
Every time I make a tackle, I'm trying to win the league for the first time in a million years.
Leslie, tell me about the mentality shifting that you don't agree with. I want more on that.
Right. Well, this is the other thing. Like the one thing that you can't put against Arsenal this time is that we've gone into the market, we've weighed in, we've gone into our mother's handbag and got all the money we can and bought everybody that we needed to buy. We've got the side that we want to. We've spent 200 million or whatever it is. Now we've got probably 2, 3, maybe 4 different ways that we can play at anybody now when everybody's fit. And the fact that we've had people that aren't fit, we've got injuries, shows the value of
squad
going out the extra mile and buying Eze and all of that sort of stuff. But we played all of those games. Arteta has had to pick a way to play the game. Now, just going back to the Liverpool game, and the same with this game, really, but in terms of the result, we got beat by the best free kick that has been taken at Liverpool at Anfield against one of the best sides in the world. Yeah, that's probably the best free kick in the last 10 years. That beat his tactic. His tactic was to go in, play the side that we played before, and bring on Eberici, who's probably a little bit undercooked at the time. We've got new players to integrate. There's loads of different things that could have happened. And the only way that those geezers were going to beat us was putting it in top bins off the inside of the post. So,
right, Leslie, I've heard you out. I need you to hear me out now. This is where I get frustrated with Arsenal fans. Because when you lose, this is just generalising, not you specifically, so please don't take it personally. But when you lose, it's Arteta. We had the handbrake on. We've had Steve call earlier, who called up last week, and obviously had to eat humble pie today. The reason that Arteta and Arsenal get so much eyeballs on and spoke about the most is because everybody from here is saying what you're saying now. You've got the best squad. You've got the best squad. 2 players for every position. You can play any formation that you want to play. So when you're not winning games, you're going to come under the most amount of scrutiny. And that's where I get a little bit frustrated because people think it's a personal attack. It's not. It's the credit that we're now giving Arsenal, saying they are that good.
Hold the bus. What about our striker? We got the boy who's been undercooked all season. Is that they going? Oh well, he's undercooked. He can't play. It's
the same as what we said when he was messing up in pre-season, if you remember. Because again, one thing I am is fair. I'm fair, so I'm not going to come out on here and say that Gyökeres is now not. He's up to date. He's up to speed now. That was actually the best game he's played today.
Right, absolutely.
Yeah,
no, you do know the game then.
Just a little bit, just 17 years. How many years did you play?
Listen, I played for the Dog and Duck for
there we go.
Years.
So no problem. But my point, what I'm trying to say to you is, you got to call it as you see it. That's all I'm asking for. That when Arsenal fans win, you win and you take it. But when you lose, don't come on here blaming everybody else. And that's what we had last week.
No. You guys were turning around and saying he did this, he did that, he wasn't brave enough, and all of that stuff. We got beat by 1 kick. No,
that was against Liverpool. I didn't do Liverpool. I'm talking about Man City. That game was there for you to win. And you saw today, you'd have to admit, when Eze played in the 10, he opens up so much of the game for everybody else.
We want him to play for a 10. That's but
we didn't do it last week.
But he's done it this week because he thinks it's the right thing to do. We could have won last week. We won this week, and we didn't win at Liverpool. It's like a cigarette paper. It's too early to be saying that Arteta's done anything wrong. I want us to be as expansive as we possibly can. I've been going down.
And for me, just to come on what you're saying there, Leslie, when you've just bought Eberechi Eze, when the week they bought him, and you go into Liverpool and he's full of confidence and he's already been playing in the Premier League for Palace this season. It's not like he needs to wait, like we said with Isaac and Gyökeres. That, for me, is when you look at the manager and go, why would you not play Eze when he's full of confidence and you go into Anfield and he performs at the big stages? Listen, Leslie, brilliant call, thank you, but we need to move on. 03717 223344. Loving the calls from everyone tonight. Have your say. That's the whole point of the final word. If you don't agree with something we say, you can come and call us, but make sure you're listening. Because both of us have said the Gyökeres penalty is definitely a penalty. It's like, you slow it down and watch it in VAR and you go to the letter of the law, it's not a penalty. But it's a penalty in footballing terms. If you play football, if you watch football on any level, that's a penalty. Mm-hmm. But so is the handball. If you're gonna, that's what we're saying. 03717 223344. More Ryder Cup updates on the way and plenty of spicy talk. And that's not just from me and Troy. That's the crowd at the Ryder Cup. It's Maj and Troy. It's talkSPORT. Right now, before we go back to your calls, let's head back over to New York, where there's been plenty of blue on the leaderboard as we get the latest of the Ryder Cup from talkSPORT's Sean O'Brien.
Ryder Cup update on talkSPORT with Arnold Clark. Get £750 off any used electric car or home charger.
Yes, Europe 12, USA 5. Europe need 2 points to retain the Ryder Cup, and all 11 singles matches are now on the golf course. Europe currently up in 6 of them. Remember, there's only 11 matches, not 12 today, because Victor Hovland withdrew due to an injury. That meant Europe got an automatic half point in his match with Harris English, and they're looking very good here. Matt Fitzpatrick 3 up against Bryson DeChambeau, who is rallying a bit, but it's been a weird Ryder Cup for DeChambeau. He had a little row with Justin Rose and Tommy Fleetwood and their caddies yesterday, and then there was a great clip of European fans staying behind after the matches had finished to kind of go through their songbook with him on the range. And I have to say, for all the nastiness from the home fans kind of going after people's families and stuff like that, the travelling fans have been incredible. They've made it feel a bit like a football match. They've got creative. They've really generated the right kind of atmosphere, because it's meant to be loud. No one minds that it's loud, but it's meant to be fair and respectful and fun as well. And the Americans haven't really got that. It's just kind of been badly timed insults. But Europe continuing to block out the noise on their way to what could be a historic victory. 2 points needed for the trophy, 7.5 needed for the all-time record. They currently lead in 6 and 3 tied. So that makes 7.5. But as it stands, still Europe 12, USA 5.
Brilliant stuff. Thank you very much, Sean. Loads of updates during the show. I know a lot of you probably have got us on and watching that as well at the same time. 03717 22 33 Let's go to John in Stevenage. He's an Arsenal fan. How are we, John?
Yeah, not bad, mate. You too good?
Yes,
yeah, good as gold.
very well. Do you know what? We're pleased Arsenal won in the end, because it made for a more interesting show, because it would have been a repeat of last week's show. Now we get to hear what you guys feeling. You feeling a lot more confident after that display?
John, before you speak, have you been listening?
Yep. I have been.
Because Leslie's just hammered me for saying exactly the same thing that Leslie said.
What you just spoke when you spoke to Leslie just then, I totally agree with you about the handbrake. I think we're a lot more fluid today. I think Arteta's got a massive decision to make, because Odegaard's one of his favourites, and for me, I keep saying that team. I agree with you. I thought it was our best performance today. I agree with what you said about Gyökeres as well. So it's a tough league, you know that yourself. I listen to you all the time on your podcast and stuff, and I thought he worked the channels well today. I thought it was a definite penalty. I do think the Newcastle handball's a penalty as well. But I just want to hit just one quick slant I want to look at, and it's Arsenal fans are quite nauseating sometimes with the conspiracy theory, but there is one that is interesting that I've just read, that Jared Gillett can't referee Liverpool because he's a Liverpool fan, and he can't referee Everton. With that in mind, I would suggest that he can't referee anybody in a title race. Because he's refereed 66% of Arsenal's games. He's either been on VAR or he's been in the middle. And I just wanted to know what your opinions on that were, because human nature is you would side. If I was a ref, I know I'd side for Arsenal. So I just want to know your opinions on that, really.
Well, of course, this is a very tricky ground. So before we even say anything, remember this is just a hypothesis, and we're not claiming anything.
Well, you're scared of getting sued by the ref?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
But I think that is definitely something to consider, because, you know, big games like this, if you do have an affiliation to a club that you might be not necessarily.
I'm gonna dive in there. Sorry, mate.
Well, this is good. That's why you're here.
Yeah,
they're
not gonna. They don't think like that. I know your opinion, but you've been trained out of it. It's like I'm a Birmingham City fan, right? But I've been in football that long. I could talk about Villa and have no ill will towards it. The refs don't naturally do that, because in that case, then, so like Anthony Taylor's from Manchester, he can't do any Manchester games. Do you get what I mean? Then he can't do any Arsenal games. So you're actually not going to get the best refs doing the best games.
Yeah.
Because it's going to be based on where you're from. I just think it's about having the best refs doing it. I thought he actually reffed the game quite well today, John, to be totally honest with you.
Well, yeah, I did. I mean, I don't think it should be. It's not clear and obvious to overturn that.
Yeah.
I do agree with you. I think we got away with one with the handball.
Yeah.
I do. I totally agree with everything you're saying. It's actually interesting from a professional's point of view when you just said it's born out of you. So, you know, I like listening to you're saying you're Birmingham City born and bred.
Yeah.
But you think it's born out of you because you're in the professional system.
Yeah, and also as well, mate, they're on you too much to even care. Do you know what I mean? Like the refs are under so much scrutiny that even if they had this little moment in their mind where that bias come in, he's going to have to deal with that for the next 2 months, 2 years, 3 years of that one decision. So I think refs have it really hard. Listen, I don't think they've been great, but I thought he did well today.
Nah, fair play. Excellent. Good chat. Thanks, talk, lads.
Brilliant. Thank you very much, John. 03717 223344 is the number to call. We're going to hear from Arsenal boss Mikel Arteta next on the Final Word on talkSPORT.
Over the last few years, Formula One has gone from elitist and insular to a global entertainment brand. The transformation's down to American investment group Liberty Media, who cultivated a new image for the sport since buying it in 2016. Better access to drivers, improved content on social media and tapping into the US market have given F1 a massive boost in both attention and revenues. But is everyone happy? The fans certainly are, as evidenced by Drive to Survive. Almost 7 million people per season have tuned in to get all the gossip and all the drama from the paddock. The extra exposure means the drivers can demand a higher salary too. In 2010, the top drivers were earning $20 million a year, which isn't bad. But now, the very best earn 3 times that, with Max Verstappen getting a whopping $65 million in 2025. But money doesn't always buy happiness. Some drivers, including Verstappen, don't like the pageantry the changes have brought about. In Las Vegas in 2023, Verstappen said the drivers were made to look like clowns, and the event was 99% performance and 1% race. Some purists who still watch the sport feel the same, and that the spirit of competition has suffered. But Formula One and Liberty Media don't look like slowing down anytime soon. So expect more races, major events and exclusive access in future.
Good evening. It is the final word phone in here on talkSPORT with me, Majestic, and former Premier League striker Troy Deeney. Playing this one again because producer Ross asked to play it again. It's my remix of Mika McLaurin's new single, Remember Me, that came out last week. And a lot of you guys and girls liked it so much that you asked about it on X. So, all good. Lots to go through during the show tonight. Of course, Arsenal getting that win at St James's Park. A big win for them, putting them second in the league. Do you think that's why Arsenal fans are in such high spirits tonight?
Was it?
They're in their rightful place. They're second.
Don't start.
No,
it's been a nice show.
How complimentary have I been to Arsenal tonight?
You have. Listen, we're an honest show.
We say what we say.
Bunch.
And I'll tell you what, to go to St James's Park, 1-0 down to, the 85th minute?
Yeah.
And go on and win it, that is the what champions do. So Arsenal fans, feeling good tonight? That's the kind of mentality you need. And people asking me about this mentality thing. Well, we saw the mentality of the way he approached the game by starting Eze.
100%.
That guy is a starter, not a finisher. As I know you call the old finisher.
Don't get me started.
Right now, before we get back to your calls, let's hear from the delighted Arsenal boss. Of course, he's delighted. Mikel Arteta, who told talkSPORT's chief football correspondent all about their performance.
The mentality was regardless the result. That's for sure, because the way they perform and the way we played today was extraordinary. But then football brings you those moments when you get what you deserve in the last kick of the game. Almost there is not a better feeling than that. I am so proud of the team. Well, I think I just go back to what we've been told. Unless it's a clear and obvious error, the VAR just should not intervene. And I looked at that and I can never see something clear and obvious. For me, it's a penalty. But great test. Again, emotionally, we had to come back to that, stay cool, stay composed, and we find a way to do it. We talk about going to the next step, and certainly this game, this team is going to demand you to do that. And it was a massive opportunity as well for us. With all the fixtures that we had in the first 6 games to make a statement and to show the team that we are and how much we want it. And we've done it, and the result went for us.
It banishes a bit of a hoodoo as well, because it's been a difficult place for you to come here in recent season. Does it feel a bigger 3 points because of your recent record?
But I think that those things, those scars, make you the team or the player that you are today. And we certainly had some heartbreaking moments, some difficult moments in this round. But today, football brings another opportunity, and he wants to see you again. Okay, what have you learned, and how you be able to take your game to a different level? And we certainly showed that we did.
And does the winning goal sort of epitomise your team's character? Because it seemed like Gabriel just wanted it more. Did your team want it more at the end?
Yes, we wanted more, and again, the impact plays again coming in, all of them, and having that contribution to help us to win the game.
That was the Arsenal boss, Mikel Arteta, speaking to talkSPORT's chief football correspondent, Alex Crook. A couple of things I picked up there. One, he's talking about his finishes again there, Troy. He didn't call them finishers.
No.
But he's talking about the subs and the contribution they had, and they did. And the other thing I want to point out is, of course, he's talking about the penalty decisions, saying, how bad it was. Now, a little bit breaking news here. Just gone on to X. And former Premier League referee Mark Clattenburg has X'd or tweeted this. Another match where we are discussing the standards of refereeing in the Premier League. Time for Webb to accept he has failed. Now, we've tried this evening to try and stand up for our referees, because they've got a difficult job as it is. People talking about conspiracy theories, then going down the rabbit hole of who they might support, etc. It's hard enough on the field. The VAR's decision. Now we've got ex-referees jumping in as well. They can't win, the refs.
No, they can't. It's very, very difficult for them. No one's perfect. No one gets everything right. Not every player gets everything right. I don't think any of us expect them to be 100% right. I just think we want them big calls to be done right. And yeah, when you think about today's game, all in all, I'd say the ref was a real good game. Let a lot of half decent tackles go. How easy would it have been for the referee for that first goal for Newcastle to give a foul?
Yeah.
How easy would it have been? And we saw it time and time again. I thought he refed it really well, mate. I do. I like what Arteta said there. I think he has acknowledged that people are what they're saying, and it's true without saying that as well. Because the way he's not mentioning finishers now, we've all said that's a nonsense sentence. But Arsenal need to take the credit. Arteta needs to take the credit because as a manager, if you get things right, you're considered the best. If you get it wrong, like last week, you're considered that you don't know what you're doing.
And, in terms of Eddie Howe, are we going to put that down to simply the game and the week coming, the injuries that they've got? Because I think going to a 5 at the back just invited on unnecessary pressure from an already good Arsenal team. And, I just think, we said it, didn't we, when we was watching it? We could feel it coming in. They were petering out the tie, it felt like.
I thought the game was decided when Livramento came on.
Yeah.
When Livramento came on.
He does so much in that midfield, doesn't he?
Yeah, and also he just getting forward, that pace, that power. As soon as they had to take him off, I went to that 5. I thought he just gave to Arsenal. Listen, I'm not taking anything away from Arsenal because Arsenal were probably the better team overall. But Newcastle did a job in the first half. They were solid. They were set up. Nick Pope was playing really well. But I just think Livramento being injured, looking ahead to Wednesday's game, they have to win in the Champions League. It's a long old travel as well. So, yeah, I thought around 65 minutes he started to think about looking after his players. And that probably lends itself to a poor transfer window overall.
Yeah. Let's go to a Newcastle fan. Ed joins us. Good evening, Ed.
Hello.
You there, Ed?
Hi, can you hear me?
I can indeed, mate.
Hello. So, firstly, can I just say, Troy, I've really enjoyed your contribution since you joined talkSPORT. You bring something a little bit different. You're very open and you're very honest, and it is much appreciated. So thank you for that.
Thank you. I was waiting for now I'm going to get you, but thank you very much. Appreciate it.
No, mate, honestly. And I think you've assessed the game well. I think we maybe edged the first half. Like Arsenal had a couple of great chances. The post was our best chance of breakaway for one of them.
Mm-hmm.
The penalty, I think, was maybe a smidge more 50-50, but I do have rose-tinted glasses on. To your point, you could see it coming in the second half. We dropped deep. We lost a bit of our energy. Chow, I thought, had a super game for us, but we just dropped off, and you could see Arsenal's professionalism shining through. The one thing I will take slight exception to is the ref. He was consistent, letting some good wrestling go between both teams. I think that's fair.
They're not wrestling.
I think in other games you'd have seen a few more yellows. I mean, Big Joe took out Saka in the first 30 seconds. That would have only been a yellow.
Yeah.
But the challenge, particularly on Livramento, he was cleaned out in the air quite clearly. Certainly a yellow. The fact he got stretchered off 2 minutes afterwards, you'd kind of think the ref was... But honestly, fair result. I'm dealing with WhatsApp messages from a very dear friend called Raz, who's an Arsenal fan. But no, look, it was a good game. Newcastle are progressing. Credit to Arsenal. I think it shows they've got a bit of grit and steel about them. And, we go on and hopefully get a result midweek in Europe.
Yeah, it's a massive game, isn't it, in the week as well. I was there against Barcelona. I thought you played really well. There's one point I want to get to. I've been up at St James's Park.
Please.
You played against Liverpool. He was excellent for 35, 40 minutes. Played against Barcelona, similar. It just seems to me that when Newcastle have to take a break from that press, that 5 minutes is where teams just seem to score. It's like they can't manage that 5 minutes.
No.
Is that a fair assessment?
No, I think it is. I mean, I think partly it's the new players, and this isn't to sound critical. I think, you look at Voltemada, who took his goal exceptionally well. His hold at play is just going to give us a different dimension. Anthony Elanga, speed to burn. He's Franz Carr with quality for those of us who are slightly older Newcastle fans. Good man, at least I'm not alone on that one. But he struggles with the press. He struggles with marking, and I think it's just he's learning the system. And I think occasionally Eddie's a little bit nervous to make subs. This is my opinion. Because he's aware we're going to lose a little bit on the press, but it's kind of that double-edged sword of, but we've got to get the other guys playing. Harvey Barnes is the same.
I think, sorry to cut you there, Ed, I think Ramsey and Visser are massive. Once those boys are back, I think you could go with a high press that they want to do. You can change the players, and you don't. I always think a good team, and Arsenal are an exceptional team at this. When you change a player and you go from, let's say it's your 10, your number one, your 10 out of 10 player that you want to play, the Saka. If you're replacing him with Madueke, that 10 only drops to a 8.5. When Newcastle drop at the moment with their subs, unfortunately, it goes from the 10 to maybe a 6.5. And you have to readjust how you're playing and how you attack. And I just think that's where Eddie's really nervous to make these changes.
Agree. I mean, you could see poor Big Joe's legs had gone, but he was, doing a really great job, and he kept him on maybe a bit longer. And you boys called it out. Eze was exceptional. Yeah. The gaps he was finding, and even when he wasn't on the ball, he was causing problems because, Tonali and Bruno were having to go out to him, which was leaving a gap behind. His movement was super. So, look, fair result. Good job, Arsenal. Newcastle, look, I remember previous years under Stevie Bruce and others, so it's all relative. and we move on, my friends.
Yeah.
So thank you for indulging, and there's always a great show.
Thank you so much. 03717.
Can we get more callers like Ed? He was lovely.
I know.
I might invite him around for a cuppa.
03717 223 On Wednesday evening, Arsenal take on Olympiacos in the Champions League live here on talkSPORT. 03717 223 is the number to call. It's Matt. It's Right, before we get back to your calls, it's the final day of the Ryder Cup, and it's really hotting up now, so it's time to get all the latest from talkSPORT's golf correspondent and delighted Aston Villa fan, Rupert Bell.
Ryder Cup update on talkSPORT with Arnold Clark. Get the UK's best used car deals, guaranteed.
Well, I've got to give credit to the Americans because about half an hour ago, Europe looked to be in cruise control, up in 6 matches. But the Americans are not going down without a fight because now they are, at the moment, up in 4. And Rory McIlroy's just slipped one down to the world number 1, Scotty Scheffler. A bit of a scrappy match, this one, but Scotty Scheffler just nosing in front in that game. Elsewhere, though, Matt Fitzpatrick was 5 up in his game against Bryson DeChambeau, but the big-hitting American has won 2 holes on the bounce and is now just 3 down. Cameron Young is outplaying Justin Rose at the moment, who's missing a few short putts, and he's 3 down. So Europe getting a little twitchy. They need just 2.5 points to regain the cup, just 2 to retain it. But as I say, the Americans offering some resistance, finally, on this last afternoon of the Ryder Cup.
Brilliant stuff. Thank you very much, Rupert. And as we mentioned in there, he's a delighted Aston Villa fan. Aston Villa beating Fulham 3-1 at Villa Park today. Troy, we've been waiting to see it happen.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, finally, it's happened for Villa.
Yep.
Watkins scores as well. A much improved performance today.
Yeah, again, moments in games, right? I saw the incident with Martinez and King. Is that a penalty? Is it not? If we get that penalty, does a moment happen?
Yeah.
Jimenez coming off after just scoring them, not having a striker. I think it's one that Villa needed. They needed that not only for the team, but for the crowd as well. There's been a lot of despondent Villa fans phoning us last week. I'm happy for Ollie to get off the mark. You could see the relief in there. And if you remember last week, I said, you've got to go back to doing the basics. You've got to start running hard and doing that. And that's where his goal comes from. It's a great finish. McGinn scoring, but unfortunately going off injured. A nice little assist from Morgan Rogers as well for Buendia. So, yeah, some shoots of recovery. And maybe that win in the week in the Europa League was what gets them off the foot of the table and getting ready to go and take people on. But this is the Premier League. You have to be consistent every single week. We see that with Man United. We see that with Chelsea. And now Villa will start to feel that they can start to move forward. But they will have to get players back injured as quickly as possible.
A difficult game Thursday coming up against Feyenoord. But to go into the international break, another game at Villa Park against Burnley.
Yeah.
The type of tie you'd
That's
love
the
to
game
have.
you want. That's the game you want going into international break. You know what
Because
Burnley are gonna do.
on the other side of that, this is their fixtures. They go away to Tottenham. Then they've got go-ahead Eagles in the Europa. Then it's home to Man City and away to Liverpool, and then home to Bournemouth.
But my thing with Villa is, in those games, I expect Villa to perform better.
Yeah.
I'm more worried about them against the Burnley when everyone thinks they're going to win.
Really?
And you've got to break them down. I saw them against Everton a few weeks ago. They were really poor on the day. But against the Spurs, I think that'll be a great game. Against Man City, I think Villa will be great. It just feels to me like, can they get up to that level consistently? Yes, they've had PSR trouble. Yes, they've not had a great transfer window. But I just want to see them now just go, right, we're in it now. Transfer window shut. No one's going anywhere. Let's dig in. And hopefully this is the catalyst this week.
Well, following 2 controversial penalty decisions against Fulham in a 3-1 loss to Aston Villa, Fulham boss Marco Silva went on a bit of a rant against the officials.
What I can say, for me, is clear penalty, the first one. Clear penalty. Even if the ball goes in a different direction when he tried to dribble Martinez, he was tackled by Martinez. Clear was tackled by Martinez. And I would like to say that, and I don't need protection for Josh. I don't want the referees to try to educate one player that is just 18 years old. We know how to educate him. I have to be even more clear. He has enough education, how to play football, how to don't hit the game, how to do the right things in football. He has enough education. It's for me, in 2 weeks, in 2 games, so quick how they gave yellow cards for Josh in 2 moments inside the box. For me, is almost incredible. Last week, I was the first one saying it's not a penalty. Too harsh a yellow card was not a penalty. This afternoon, amazing how the referee was so quick to give a yellow card for him in a clear penalty, in my opinion. The second penalty, okay, is the handball. I know that in Premier League you don't give so many handballs like that one, but I go back for the Chelsea game again, where you got a penalty against us. Sessegnon tried to avoid the cross, make the body bigger. wasn't ball, and VAR, okay, and they explain as, he make the body bigger, has to be penalty. Okay, this afternoon, but the ball goes to the goal and he make the body bigger. Why against us with Chelsea is a penalty? Why the same people? Because they are the same. They are the same referees. They are the same officials. They are the same VR. Is the same guy that is on the top. Why this afternoon was not a penalty again?
He's fuming. Marco Silva there.
That's the boss. That's what he does. Now, do you know what? I 100% feel for him at this moment in time. You got to look at Fulham's ones. Against Man United.
That was shocking.
Criminal. Again, against Chelsea, they obviously score the goal. They got brought back. Criminal, in my opinion. And like he said, again, for Sessegnon, that they got the penalty against. He said giving the body, making the body bigger. The one today, I don't think Matty Cash does it intentionally, but if it doesn't hit his hand, it's going in. It's a goal. So I just think we're in this position where Marco is going to have to be a little bit careful, because he'll definitely get a fine for that and a slap on the wrist.
He's not mincing his words.
No, he's not. But I think his point around King is very interesting, though, because we've seen, and one of the callers said it today, Arteta's outside his box all the time.
All the time.
Never gets pulled on it, and he's screaming, he's shouting, and he always speaks to him. It's so easy for a referee to give a young lad a card for diving. Now he's in this box, it is a diver. It was a clear contact that took him down from Martinez. Whether it's a penalty or not will be, something for people. I don't think that's a penalty. I don't think he's going to get to it. I think that's different for the Gyökeres one. But it's not a dive. It's not a yellow card. And they're not going to rescind it as well. So I think Marco has some validity. But being totally honest, that weren't the reason they lost today.
Well, Marco Silva, could he be the man for Manchester United? Another loss for United at the weekend. And still Amorim comes out and says the same thing. You hear him yesterday?
Yeah, but do you know what, mate? Maybe I'm just being delusional Amorim stuff, but yesterday, right, let's just walk through this chain of events. At 2-1 down, if they score that penalty at 2-2 and they go and win the game 3-2, not one Man United fan comes on any radio station talking about the system. Not one. No. Then they would have been in the top 4 before the rest of the games happened. Oh, it's all coming to fruition. Oh, it's all of this. But unfortunately, what the coach can't do in this situation, he can't account for having a terrible goalkeeper. He can't, because the kid that they brought in is about 12 stone wet. So we don't know how good he is either. Harry Maguire dropping and then running forward, trying to play offside, he can't account for that. He can't account for his captain, who's been probably the reason Man United have been good over the last 4 or 5 years, missing 2 out of the 3 penalties he's had this season. You can't account for those things. I'm looking at it. Do I think he needs to tweak, and do I think there's things he can do better? Absolutely. But if you're looking at Man United and saying that it's the system that's the problem, you're deluded. That team is not a very good team. It's just not. And that's my rant over. But it's just not a good team. You finished 16th last year.
Yeah.
And now we're expecting to be what? Champions League? Based on what?
It's true.
Based on what?
Let's go to a Villa fan who was at the game today. He's at Villa Park. Jez joins us. Good evening, Jez.
Majestic, how are you?
I'm very good, my friend.
You're going to say hello to me?
Hello. Hey, you're from Smalley.
Never that. Chelmsford Wood, mate. You know the score. What's happening?
Well, listen, great punditry, Troy. And, thanks, lads. It's just been a pleasure to listen to you. I was at the game. I mean, Silva, I think he just should be more professional. He's clear. He's moaning a lot. Lots of excuses. Martinez made contact, but I think the ball was pushed wide. I was in the whole end, about 20 rows up, directly behind the goal. That ball was pushed wide. Quite a lightweight striker. I mean, I thought that their side is physical. Yeah. They got some big boys in that. They're very physical. Jimenez, that was a loss to them. He got up really well. He's a class act. I think 6'3", 6'4". I've got a lot of time for him. Mm-hmm. I mean, look at him. Look at his stats for Mexico as well. They're undoubted. Just turning the attention to referees, because I think it is an interesting one. The referees, they are getting so much stick. But we got to remember, everybody's got to remember that without referees, we haven't got a game.
Yeah, that is 100% true.
It's so hard for them to, in real time, Troy, you know yourself as a former pro, in real time. But, I mean, Silva's going on about, should have had a penalty, this and that, yellow cards. But Ollie Watkins, second half, what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah.
Now, I'm confused because he was taken down. Mm-hmm. Maybe I'm biased, but it looked like it.
Yeah.
Does it go to the fourth official, and then does the fourth official take it to VAR? Or should it go to VAR anyway? Can somebody explain what happens? I go to every game, but I'm still confused.
And I think that's the problem there. I think you've just stumbled onto it. That is the problem.
I thought the exact same thing. What's the process?
Yeah, the processes are weird and wonderful. If you look at the referee's handbook, which is very... No, I don't like doing this on most Sundays, but if you actually look at it, 3 or 4 years ago, it was very deliberate in what it was. It's gone from like a page to like 12 pages now for offside. Everything's been micromanaged. Even the referees are confused, and I know that. It's got a couple messaging me as we're doing this show. So I think it's very difficult for referees. I think when you talk about Marco, and obviously I worked on him, so I know he's very passionate and he is emotional. But if you look at the calls that have gone against his team so far this season, only 6 games in, I think it's a continuation. But I actually want to talk to you more about Villa. You said you sat in the whole end, right, 20 rows up. Were you
Sorry, she's my French. Apologies.
Thank you very much, Jez. I do apologise if any foul language did slip out of Jez's mouth. He was very excited, of course, to speak to his old nemesis, Troy Deeney, but we do apologise if anything.
What happens you get with them Villa lads, mate, unfortunately.
No, 03717, they're just excited to get the win today. Yeah. Now, 03717 223344, and because it's Sunday, it means one thing and one thing only.
On your WhatsApp is a very special place you can speak to Managerial. WhatsApp, baby.
Send us your WhatsApp, baby.
WhatsApp, baby, WhatsApp.
Final word.
WhatsApp, baby, WhatsApp.
The WhatsApp number is 037-172-2344.
That's right. It's time to open up the WhatsApp. The WhatsApp's now open. 03717 223344. We want WhatsApp voice notes. Troy, who would you like to hear from this week on the WhatsApps?
I would love to hear from Chelsea fans, West Ham fans, Man United fans. Those guys, the guys that are in a bit of trouble and not sure what's happening. I'd like to hear about those. I'm sure we're going to get about 15 more Arsenal fans that can see the switchboard in front of us going off as well. And then Liverpool fans, are you concerned that it's not really clicking and what needs to change? I know you're top, but what needs to change?
Also, we want to hear from anyone who enjoyed the performance by Team Europe in the Ryder Cup so far. It's getting a bit more tense as the day goes on. Cool. Give us a WhatsApp voice note on 03717 223344. All you got to do is pick up your WhatsApp, add the number, send us a voice note on your phone. You're going, hello, Troy. Hello, Madge. My name's Steve. Up the Arsenal. 03717 223344. We'll hear from you next on The Final Word.
What do you get when some of the most individual sports stars club together? Well, a melting pot of history, tension, rivalry, friendship and elite stories. Here are some of the best off-camera anecdotes from the Ryder Cup. Number 1, Tigers loo roll. The protagonist, Lee Westwood's former caddy, Billy Foster, said in a toilet cubicle at the Belfry. As he went to relieve his first morning nerves, Foster noticed only one of the 2 cubicles had loo roll, and while he was seated, in came a tiger into the empty cubicle, and he realised his mistake all too late. So Foster took some paper, reached under the cubicle with a rescue offering, and as Tiger went to take it, Foster uttered the words, "Europe, 1 up." As it happened, Europe did go on to win. Fast forward 10 years to the miraculous Medina, when, after a gruelling Saturday, Rory McIlroy overslept on the Sunday and was in danger of missing his tee time. Thankfully for him, the person booking player transport was Erica Stoll. She sorted him a police escort to the course. 3 years later, McIlroy proposed in Paris. The next story is told by Scottish legend Sam Torrance about the great Seve, who apparently despised the Americans mainly because of a diminutive US reporter who kept calling him Steve.
Hey, my name is Severiano Jose. It's no Steve, it's no Steve. Next day, Steve.
Torrance also tells of how Seve regularly gave coaching clinics to his European teammates, but a week later at the Italian Open, when the same players asked for advice, Seve would tell them to and see you next year. Having started with a Billy Foster story, let's finish with one from the 12th tee at Oakland Hills in 2004. It was Jimenez and Garcia against Westwood and Clark in a practice round, and as they finished, Foster decided to jump in the buggy and speed away with all their clubs, only to lose control entirely and tumble onto the course and see it careering towards the spectators. Thankfully, the Red Sea parted and the buggy smashed into a tree, with viewers and clubs still intact.
Good evening, it's the Final Word phone in here on talkSPORT with me, Majestic, alongside the former Watford striker Troy Deeney. No Pards again this week, but I think we'll be speaking to him later on in the show. And right now, we're not the only place on national radio taking your calls. So the only place you're going to come have your say is with us on 03 717 2234. Soon, we'll be getting stuck into another miserable weekend for Jason Cundy's Chelsea, whilst Alan Pardew's Crystal Palace soared to another new height by defeating the champions Liverpool yet again. And yes, we'll be talking about Spurs very soon. But right now, we're giving you the greatest quiz on radio, the Mystery Footballer Song Quiz. There's 3 songs in total, which will lead you to which player it is. Remember, it could be the club he played for, his squad number and nickname, or even a physical feature. So DJ Kitch, let's drop song number 1.
Naughty boys in nasty schools, headmasters breaking all the rules, having fun and playing fools, smashing up the woodwork tools, all the teachers in the pub, passing round the red.
Of course, Madness, Suggs, the lead singer of Madness, and that's Baggy Trousers. There's 2 songs still to go, but if you think you know what could be from our first song, of course, Suggs with very heavy Chelsea links. Text us the answer to 81089 or send us a WhatsApp message on 03717 223344. Now, before we talk about one of the football team in blue, let's head back to New York, where Team Europe are in battle on the final day in the Ryder Cup. And here with all the latest, it's talkSPORT's golf correspondent, Rupert Bell.
Ryder Cup update on talkSPORT with Arnold Clark. Get the UK's best used car deals, guaranteed.
Well, you've got to give the Americans credit. They're not dying without a fight because they're now leading in the top 2 matches. Cameron Young is comfortably ahead against an out-of-sorts Justin Rose, 3 up after 12. And Justin Thomas has had 3 birdies in the row to turn his match around against the star of the first 2 days, Tommy Fleetwood, to go 1 up. But Bryson DeChambeau did think he was going to get a hole on the last hole, the 12th, but Matt Fitzpatrick drilled the birdie putt to halve that hole and remained 3 up. Rory McIlroy has got it back to being tied against Scotty Scheffler, holding a big putt. It's a scrappy match, this one. And Ludwig Eiberg has put himself in front against Patrick Cantley. So Europe are up in 4 at the moment and tying 2. And that's more than enough to regain the Ryder Cup. But you have to say the Americans are at least offering some resistance in front of a very partisan crowd.
Thank you very much, Rupert Bell there. Right, let's talk about Chelsea, because Troy was at the game yesterday for Game Day Live. Chelsea won, Brighton 3. What was it like? What was the atmosphere like, Troy?
It was jubilant to start with, and obviously the go 1-0 up. I was at the game. I was very disappointed in Brighton, to be totally honest with you, at the start. I thought that they showed Chelsea a little bit too much respect. Chelsea, obviously, with a lot of injuries, so they're a young team. But I've gone away from this young team mentality an excuse, because they keep buying young.
Yeah.
So you can't keep buying young and then saying that we're too young and we're going to grow. I just think when I was there, the sending off kills Chelsea. But again, fans in and around me were saying the negative changes. They went to try and survive in that game as opposed to go and winning the game. And ultimately, Brighton came on strong, and Danny Welbeck got 2 and ended up winning the game 3-1. But I was more interested with the fans in and around me, because it felt like they'd turned on Maresca.
Really?
And I thought he'd had a great summer. You know, Club World Cup, winning that, the signings that they brought in. I don't know, it felt really positive going into it. But the last couple of weeks, it just seems to have gone a little bit. And I want to know what Chelsea fans think about that, to be honest, because I thought it was a little bit harsh.
2 league defeats in a row.
Yeah, but 2 sendings off of their own doing.
You mentioned Danny Welbeck there, 34 years of age.
Yeah.
Doing bits still. I love to see it. And I love the fact that, you know, we've got someone in the Premier League like that who is a striker who would be considered old by other people. This old at like 29.
Anything that in and around the 30 mark, you're old in football now. But yeah, it's crazy, mate. But obviously he's in great nick. Obviously James Milner was there as well. And when you see the boys afterwards, like working to stay on top of it, that's when I tip my hat to him, because, you know, it's very easy when you're older to be like, I ain't doing that. James Milner doesn't have to be doing all the running after games, but he's still doing it, still leading the way. Yeah, they're good boys. So fair play to them and fair play to Brighton, because there's a massive game for them.
You mentioned about the Chelsea faithful around you being a bit fed up with Enzo Maresca. This is from Matt Law on X. He says, understand that Enzo Maresca retains the full faith of the Chelsea board and sporting directors. No sense of panic over mini slump, particularly after the much bigger slump Maresca and his team recovered from last season. Injuries and red cards seen as the biggest factor in recent results. Chelsea's aim remains to finish inside the top 4 and have the run in the Cups. Don't forget, Tuesday evening, Chelsea take on Benfica in the Champions League. Presented by Adrian Durham, commentary from Jim Bradford and former Chelsea and Benfica defender, the man like Scott Minto.
It's got to dive in on that, sorry.
Yeah.
You can't spend £1 billion and be talking about finishing in the top 4. You finished in the top 4 last year. Come on. Got to be a bit more of a progression.
Well, in total, Arteta's spent over £1 billion, hasn't he?
Yeah, and look how
look at the pressure he's got.
Yeah, look at the pressure on. Him finishing in the top 4 isn't considered a good season for Arsenal.
No.
If they don't win the league, it's considered not good enough. And for Chelsea, keeps being this unwritten rule. It's like just getting into the Champions League is good enough. I don't know. Maybe Chelsea fans tell me different, but I expect a bit more.
They can't accept that. The level that they're at, they just can't be accepting it. Listen, Chelsea fans, it's Deja Vu Radio time. Is Enzo Maresca the man for you? Because judging by social media, and let's not do that too often in life, there's a lot of unhappy Stamford Bridge fans. I normally try and go on what I see in the world rather than on social media at times. Call us right now, 03717 22 3344. We'll hear from you next on The Final Word here on talkSPORT. You're listening to the Happy Hammers podcast with me, Majestic, alongside Troy Deeney. We're not happy at the moment, are we, Troy? But we got a no gaffer, Nuno. What are you expecting?
I am expecting them to be solid, resolute. He's going to try and compact that midfield. I think he's going to utilise Jared Bowen a lot more in those wide areas. Him and Somerville,
baller.
Going to be key. But he's going to want everyone to sit in, to work defensively astute like we saw at Forest, and then counter-attack as quick and as powerfully as they can.
And I think he's got some of the ingredients to do that, West Ham.
Yeah,
I think.
100%. I think he's going to get the best out of Fulkrug and Callum Wilson as well. You saw what he did with Chris Wood. Not expect him to kill himself but be in the right places and get yourself in the box. Yeah. But I am still concerned with that midfield. For me, that holding midfield area, not enough legs in there. I'd love to see some of the young boys get a go. Yeah, some of the youth team players get some running in there, some energy. And obviously Souček is huge for them as well, isn't he?
Yeah. And that, as well as our West Ham analogy there, was our song number 2 of our mystery footballer. That was West Ham Forever Blowing Bubbles. First song, of course, was Sug and Madness with Baggy Trousers. If you think you know who the mystery footballer is, 03717223344 or text 81089, and we'll be talking about the Hammers with their former gaffer, Alan Pardew, very, very soon. Right, let's go to Spencer. He's a Chelsea fan. He joins us. Good evening, Spencer.
Hi, guys. How you doing, all right?
Yeah, very, very well. Listen, Troy brought up the fact that yesterday when he was at Stamford Bridge, there was a lot of unruly fans around him going at the gaffer. What have you seen? What's the feelings like as Chelsea fans?
I agree from some of it. I myself haven't quite turned on Majestic yet, but I do kind of agree with Troy that about the whole youth excuse, because like he said, we keep buying young. We can't use that excuse forever. But then also, I like what the owners have done, is they've strengthened the team in midfield and attack, but yet we've had the same back line and goalkeeper for the last 3 or 4 years. And it's like, where is the progress? Now, yes, we won the Conference League and the Club World Cup. I get that, but we were expected to win the Conference League on paper, let's face it. If we didn't, we'd be talking about it, and it would be an absolute shambles. And then I think with the Club World Cup, as good as we were in the final, in my opinion, I think we caught Pearsley on a bad day. That's because we haven't quite replicated that form coming into the season. And it's just like, I can see why some fans are turned on him, because also the last 2 games we've gone down to 10 men and it's ultimately cost us. Now, I know when you go down to 10 men, it can be difficult. But at the same time, I've never seen the team capitulate like we do when we go down to 10 men. We go down to 10 men and it's like we completely lose our heads and don't know what to do.
Sorry, Spence, to interrupt, but just on that, they're self-inflicted though, these red cards of the last 2 weeks.
Yeah, I agree. Like the Sanchez one was, we all know what Sanchez is like. He can be a great shot stopper, but he's got a massive error in him, which is ultimately going to cost you a game. Yeah. And he can't. We can all see that. Jorgensen just hasn't got any confidence. Now that could be lack of game time or what. But he's got no confidence. And it's just like we got no one else to turn to. And also we have injuries as well. But everyone deals with injuries. Yeah. But we've now got, we relied on Badia Shiel as our only centre-back now, who again has had injury issues. And it's like we've got Josh Attenpong left as the only fit centre-back. But you can't put the pressure of the Champions League and the Premier League on somebody that young.
Yeah, I think I take a lot of what you said. Me personally, I wanted to see step forwards with Chelsea this season. We've just heard from a journalist saying that Chelsea expect to be in the top 4. I think that's very low expectations for a team that spent so much and have a history like you guys do, of recent history of competing in all the competitions. But I do stand by this, Spencer, and I know personally he's not happy with what I said, and I still don't care, and I'm going to say it anyway. You cannot compete with Sanchez in goal. You can't.
100%.
No way.
I agree. You just can't do it. Like I was saying to a friend the other day, and I know it was unlikely, but we should have gone hammer and nail for Donnarumma. Now I know that was an unlikely move, or at least gone for Martinez. At least.
He definitely would be better.
Yeah, but I think as well, and I saw it firsthand on Saturday, he makes mistakes and puts people under pressure. And I saw Maresca looking at his goalkeeping coach going, have we not figured this out kind of thing yet? But he creates a nervous energy throughout the whole crowd. And I've played 100%. At Stamford Bridge. And when you go there and the teams your teams that I played against were unbelievable, we felt we had a moment for about 5 minutes throughout the whole 90 minutes. Every time I'm at that game now, when he's there, you feel like you've got a moment whenever he gets the ball. And that, to me, is scary. It really is scary.
And I agree. And I don't get what this whole backing Sanchez is. Now, we saw it with the board, with Pochettino. We all know that the board kind of want a bit of a yes man.
Yeah.
Now, could Maresca be another yes man who's just saying, we back him, we trust in him? But could that be the board? But then the trouble is as well, along with all the other issues, you get rid of Maresca, who's left out there? Nobody's going to want to take the job on. You know.
Yeah. Again, you've got injuries. Let's call it fair though, Speds, because I do try and be fair. You have got injuries to key players. Cole Palmer being out. You've got Delap out, which means João Pedro has to go forward. So what do you expect to see in the coming weeks until these guys are back fit and available? What do you expect to see change-wise?
I just want the team to kind of put their head on and just kind of get back into it. Like, yes, okay, like I said, we probably caught Pearsley on a bad day.
Yeah, I was at that game.
That form. Just replicate that form. Just think, right, we went at them toe-to-toe and to just screw your head back to that moment.
Mm-hmm.
Even if we've got to bring the youth through, it's the perfect time. Tarek Lord, I thought, had a really good Conference League, and suddenly he's been frozen out. Mm-hmm. And it's just like, that's not going to do him any good.
Brilliant call, Spencer. Thank you very much. Chelsea fan there. Let's go back to the Ryder Cup now before we bring you a very special guest who's been enjoying some red wine in South Africa.
Oh, nice.
Let's go get all the latest from New York as the Ryder Cup looks set for a fabulous final round finish.
Ryder Cup update on talkSPORT with Arnold Clark. Get £750 off any used electric car or home charger.
And it's looking pretty tense at the moment from the Europeans as they try to get over the line, because you have to say the Americans are offering some stern resistance. But there's been a little bit of good news at the early starters, because Justin Rose has fought to just one down now with back-to-back birdies at 13 and 14. Tommy Fleetwood has tied his match up after Justin Thomas had 3 birdies in the row. Matt Fitzpatrick is still playing some outrageously good golf to remain 3 up against Bryson DeChambeau. And Rory McIlroy is scrapping away against Scotty Scheffler. He's tied in that one. And Ludwig Øyberg, who may be the player to get Europe over the line, is 1 up against Patrick Cantlay. John Rahm is struggling at the moment. Elsewhere, not much blue on the board. Robert McIntyre is 1 up in the bottom match. Remember, Victor Hovland not playing today because of injury. 2 points is what the Europeans need. They are on course, but you have to say the Americans have played so much better than they have over the first 2 days.
Brilliant stuff. Thank you very much, Rupert. 03717223344. Don't forget, keep those WhatsApp messages coming in to us as well. But coming up next, it's time to go globetrotting as we're joined by a very special guest. New York, baby. It's some coffee with Troy Deeney. I was in New York with you, weren't I? We was in New York together.
Yeah, we had a bit of fun, didn't we, mate?
Yeah, New York. There's some big donuts there. They brought some big donuts into the studio that day. It is Troy Deeney, Majestic here on talkSPORT. The final word phone, and this is your third and final clue. The Empire State of Mind, Jay-Z, Alicia Keys, of course, New York being the clue there. So song number 1, Suggs Madness with Baggy Trousers, Chelsea affiliation there. West Ham, Forever Blowing Bubbles, and then New York. If you think you know who it is, WhatsApp us on 0371722 3344 or text us on 81089. But now it's time to bring in a very special guest. He's so special that he's even got his own walk-on music. DJ Kitch, my selector. Right, see, it's feeling glad all over. It's, of course, the my usual co-host on a Sunday night, the gaffer, I like to call him, Mr. Alan Pardew. How are we, Pards?
I'm very well, Madge. How are you and Troy? You good?
Very good, sir. How are you? Here you're away at the moment, enjoying life.
Well, I'm in South Africa.
Oh.
Have you picked up the accent yet, Pards?
Safari with it. No. You're the accent man. You know that. Don't start going down that road. But listen, this.
Let's just start with your former club, Crystal Palace. A great win at Selhurst Park yesterday, and thoroughly deserved, Pards.
Yeah, I had a few friends contact me who go very regularly there, and they said it was probably the best performance they've seen for many a year. You know, this team, I don't know, what is it, 17 games undefeated or something?
Yeah, that's 18 now.
Final in there. 18. I mean, it's incredible. And, you know, to take the game to Liverpool like they did and, almost run away with it in the first half, just goes to show the kind of levels of confidence and exactly where they are. And you have to sort of say that, you know, obviously Eze's moved on, but the team is very much where it was.
Yeah, Pards, just on that, obviously you've been around the block a lot of times when it comes to management. How does a manager like Glasner keep dealing with losing players? Is it because he's got a good transfer staff behind him? Because they haven't really replaced Eze, but they just seem to be rolling with all the punches.
Yeah, I think, his system, he's got nailed down. I think he's a very disciplinarian in terms of the way he sets his team up. You know, the way they close opponents down, the kind of solid attitude they have as a defensive unit. It kind of it's almost like you can take a round peg out, put another round peg in, and it's all works, you know, and it's complete opposite, of course, to what's actually happening at Man United with the same system with under Amorim, where, you know, it doesn't look like anybody knows exactly what the round hole is. But at Palace, it's very much nailed down, and wow, what a run they're on. I mean, you know, I see some reports sort of talking about, is it the best Palace team ever? And you know, in my opinion, there's no doubt. I mean, it is definitely as good a team as that we've ever seen down at Selhurst Park.
Moving on from one of your former clubs to another one, of course, because tomorrow night it's Everton taking on West Ham, presented by Adrian Durham, commentary from Joe Shannon and former England midfielder Danny Murphy. That's from 7 tomorrow night on talkSPORT. You know, a friend of yours, Graham Potter, he's been sacked after just winning 6 out of 23 league games. We saw it coming, didn't we, Pards?
Yeah, well, you know, we talked about it a couple of weeks ago, Madge, didn't we? And, you know, unfortunately, he hasn't fitted there. You know, sometimes the personality of the person is very, very important at a club like West Ham, as it was at Chelsea. And both times he found it difficult. His win percentage in the Premier League, unfortunately, doesn't stack up. And you know, he's had to take this hit. I mean, I've got to be honest, I was quite disgusted that West Ham made him do that press conference Friday.
Yeah.
And then, you know, announce a new manager, you know, within sort of 48 hours. So it was nothing to do with what he said in the presser. I think there were some reports suggesting, you know, that, he had said something, you know, underlined that, you know, he wasn't really in harmony with the ball. But that's just rubbish. Nuno would have been lined up for days and I feel that was really poor on their part, and they come out with no credit at all, the board there, by doing that.
Yeah, I said that as well yesterday, Pards. I think for putting him out there, letting him take all the hits, all the bullets, and then
you know what it's
moving
like,
away.
Troy.
Yeah.
Yeah, when you're sitting there in front of a press conference and they're asking all those awkward questions, do you feel the board are behind you? And you have to kind of, even if you don't even believe that, you're gonna go. You have to sort of say, oh yeah, I've had some reassurances, and we're all looking forward to Monday night, etc., etc. I mean, how bizarre and how ironic that it's David Moyes. I mean, wow.
Yeah, exactly. That.
It just sums up everything about West Ham, actually.
Yeah, Pards, I just wanted to ask you, in regards to, you just said there about personality fit. I've said for a long time, with West Ham, you have to have the character of a manager that the fans can look at and see, he's emotionally involved. Obviously, when you were there, you exuberated that. When I was watching Potter, and I think he's a nice guy. I don't really know the fella, but I don't have any ill will against him.
No, he's a top fella. Yeah. I mean, he's a great coach, and he's a top fella. There's no doubt about that.
But when you're looking down at work, when you're looking down at him working, and he's not expressive, is he? And I just think that for that club, there's certain clubs, you need that type of manager, and I just wonder whether Nuno is that manager as well.
Well, I understand exactly what you're saying there, Troy, and I think when you're at a club where you're fighting, right? It's not like you're a top six club and you're expected to win, and the emphasis is very much on you to dominate the game. When you're a West Ham manager, particularly with the squad they got, you're fighting, and I think physically and mentally and emotionally, that fan base want to see the manager showing a bit of Billy Bonds spirit. You know what I mean? It's more Billy Bonds than Trevor Brooking on the sideline.
Yeah,
and
100%.
And I think you're right, and I think probably in hindsight, Graham will look back and think probably it wasn't the best move for him in terms of when he left Chelsea.
Probably just desperate to get back in, Pards, wasn't he?
Yeah, I think so, Madge. But I think he could have waited a little bit longer and maybe got a better fit somewhere. I genuinely thought after Chelsea, going back to another London club with that same kind of harsh reality of the fan base, was always going to be a tough call.
In terms of Arsenal's win earlier on, because of course we have a lot of Arsenal fans ringing us on a Sunday.
Well, I didn't know they'd won, Madge. I was watching the game. They're 1-0 down. They, the first half they was terrific. I thought, and they probably should have, been going in at half time winning, and a couple of bad calls against them. But I mean, I didn't even see the end of the game, and obviously they've turned it round. So a massive result for them.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. I just wanted to go back. Just one last thing on Graham Potter. What's it like now, Potter, when you're out of work and people are questioning you? Do you start to think, do I want to do this? Do you start to think of rebranding? Yeah. How does it work now?
Well, let me tell you, there's one thing that, I was speaking to a journalist today who rang me about my opinion.
Yeah.
And I really don't like this when managers get the sack, is that there's a PR machine within the club that kicks in to kind of rubbish the manager, right? That and there'll be reports coming out, Potter wasn't good enough, personality wasn't strong enough, players weren't, didn't respect him. You get all that.
Yeah, of course.
And unfortunately, as a manager, because obviously you're in the wilderness, you've had to sign a deal, but you're not allowed to speak anyway because you want your money, you want your termination clause paid up. So you've got to play the game, and of course they can just take you to the cleaners. So you get proper rubbished as a manager, and he will for the next 3-4 days. I see actually a thing on the BBC from, is it Phil McNulty who writes on there? I see his thing about Potter today. I thought it was like, scandalous, really. It's too, it's not necessary.
Yeah,
it's just it's completely over the top, and I think that's somewhere where the LMA should defend managers a little bit more. And come out and speak for them when they can't defend themselves.
Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely.
But then that's another story, Madge, and that's why I should have been the president of the LMA, of course.
Next time round, let me do the campaign. I'll do the campaign, all right? We've got the golf on. Listen, Pards, we've got the golf on the big TV, mate.
Wow.
We're watching Fleetwood.
Oh, fantastic. Fantastic.
It's been amazing, isn't it?
Okay, well, I mean, the first 2 days were just out off the scale.
Yeah. We were 6 up earlier, and now it's kind of leveled out. The Americans, to be fair to them, are on the charge. DeChambeau was 5 down to Fitzpatrick. He's now 2 down with 4 to play.
Okay, well, you'd expect them to have a reaction. I mean, come on. Yeah. They're like, they're top professionals. They're getting the proper bum slap, as Madge would say.
in their back garden as well. Listen, Pards, what have you been up to over there? Because we mentioned before you left that you were going to go swim with sharks, and I thought in your lifetime you swam with a few of those before.
Yeah, I have. Well, let me tell you, I want to do the cage thing, right? So you go on the boat, you get in the cage, and the great white comes and he bangs the cage a bit. And I thought I'll have a bit of that because I'm at that age where it don't really matter. Do you know what I mean? I can go. I'll be quite happy. But unfortunately, guess what's happened here on the Cape here in South Africa? The Yorkers have been killing the great whites.
Oh wow!
So we've got a shortage of great whites. Can you believe it?
No, actually, we'll not believe that. To be fair. So what are you doing instead?
Weird one, isn't it?
What's the the life-ending one you want to do now?
Well, we are actually on the wine route. I think on Tuesday. So we're going to go through all the farmyards, drinking sampling the wine and get a little bit drunk. So that'll be nice. But we've done the safari. I mean, amazing. No one's ever done the safari in South Africa, and the people here are so friendly. It's a stunning trip. So we're absolutely delighted with it. And the girls are overjoyed. So it's been great.
Brilliant, Pards. We've missed you, mate. You'll be back on next Sunday.
Well, yeah, I mean, Troy's obviously a fantastic substitution, but he needs to go, Madge. I can't have him, getting warm in that seat.
I'll tell you what.
He knows I love him.
They've been loving the combo, I'll tell you, Pards.
Listen, if you ever want a weekend off, you know where I am.
Yeah.
And, of course, next Sunday we will be reacting to Brentford against Manchester City, Aston Villa against Burnley, Wolves against Brighton, and Newcastle against Forest, and Everton against Crystal Palace. Lots of games next weekend, Pards.
Big game for Newcastle and Forest next week.
I know.
100%.
Big hands. Big hands, mate.
Yeah.
Brilliant stuff, Pards.
Yeah.
Listen, enjoy yourself, enjoy the wine, and let's hope that Europe can get it over the line.
Absolutely, boys, and lovely to speak to you.
Cheers,
Thank you very much.
Bye-bye.
Our normal co-host on the Final Word, Alan Pardew, who's currently enjoying himself in South Africa now. Along with Pards, we are watching an incredible end to the final round of the Ryder Cup. So let's head stateside to get all the latest live from New York, from talkSPORT's Rupert Bell.
Ryder Cup update on talkSPORT with Arnold Clark. Get the UK's best used car deals, guaranteed.
It's proving tougher than many thought to get over the line for Europe because Bryson DeChambeau is making a terrific fight back against Matt Fitzpatrick. 5 down at one stage, but he's just birdied the par 3 14th to get to just 2 down, and that's with 4 to play. So still Matt Fitzpatrick in control, but Bryson DeChambeau firing up the crowd as well, is clawing his way back into the match. Well, Tommy Fleetwood is still tied with Justin Thomas, and Justin Rose has got back into his match, just 1 down with 3 to play against Cameron Young. Rory McIlroy just hasn't found his best game at the moment, but he's tied with world number 1 Scotty Scheffler. The Swede Ludwig Åberg, with 2 birdies in the last 3 holes, has inched in front of Patrick Cantlay. John Rahm not having it all his own way. He's 3 down against Xander Schauffele. John Rahm thinks basically run on empty after his heroics after the first 2 days. Other ways, there's no other, only up in 2 matches at the moment, Europe, because Sam Burns has got back to level against McIntyre in the bottom one. Tyrrell Hatton is tied in his match, and Shane Lowry is tied in his match against Russell Henley. So from an American perspective, they are currently leading, tied in 5, but leading in 4. So they've really offered some resistance today, which delighting the crowd. But it probably is not going to be enough as Europe are inching their way, but it's taking them far longer than perhaps they thought.
Brilliant stuff. Thank you very much, Rupert. We are enjoying the golf in the studio as we speak. Still to come before we hand the baton over to Danny Kelly on Trans-Euro Express. We will reveal who our mystery footballer is, and we will discuss Spurs. It's the Final Word on talkSPORT.
bad? Did it really turn out bad? All I learned at school was how to bet, not break the rules.
Song number 1 in our mystery footballer quiz was Suggs/Madness, Baggy Trousers. Here it is, the West Ham anthem, the Forever Blowing Bubbles. I do look like a West Ham fan tonight, with my black cap on. Big all my fellow West Ham fans. Empire State of Mind, Jay-Z with New York. Did you get it, Troy?
I went Frank Lampard.
Frank Lampard? And you were right.
There we go. That's two.
Reason why?
Chelsea, West Ham, I was kind of there anyway. Then New York.
Yeah, New York signed the deal.
Yeah.
First person to get it right was Ben, the Spurs fan. So thank you very much, Ben.
Was he first, or was that you just being nice?
No, he was first. There's no.
I feel like we haven't tapped that juicy vein that is Spurs.
We haven't got to it yet, because do you know what it means more to me? Is our voice notes. And we asked for our WhatsApp messages, and as always, they don't disappoint. First up, we got Reece, the West Ham fan, on the new managerial change.
Yeah, my Saturday morning was made getting rid of that useless manager who had in charge part. Seemed like a nice enough fella, but absolutely clueless. A bit weak, in my opinion, in terms of like when the game's going against you. So I'm actually looking forward to the game tomorrow. I know Nuno in charge. His interview with us, a bit of presence about him. And he actually said something I really appreciate. He said, we need to deliver to the fans. We don't need anything from them, the way it's been going. So come on, you Irons.
Next, we have J-Mac, the Man U fan, with the rap for us.
We got to talk about Bruno. I know he's the man, right? But he never gets dropped. That ain't right. He could play like a dodo. Next week, yep, back like a yo-yo. You got youth coming through, asking yourself, what I got to do? We've all been in that space where someone gets that priority because of the face. No matter what they do to get grace, builds negativity into the place. It's clear that we need a revamp. No more favourites in the red cap. Drop him, Maguire and Luke Shaw. Get some youth in through the door. We might as well let them play, as it seems we're going to lose anyway.
Go on, J-Mac. J-Mac barsing it up on a Sunday night. Told you, the Dizzy Rascal and Wiley reunion's not gone unmissed by us or the listeners. Kevin, the Aston Villa fan, is next, and he's buzzing.
Oi, oi! It's Kevin, Villa fan here. Don't know why you don't want to hear from Villa fans. 3 points up the Villa. Weather!
He's brought back what's up? The Budweiser advert from back in the day. Do you know what's scary, actually? There was a little funny thing the other night. I think it was Jimmy Fallon and Kim Kardashian. And Kim Kardashian talking about how she can just bring anything back. And she said, what's up? What's up in there? Maybe it's actually back. Is what's up back? I hope it's not. Last but not least, we have Declan, the Liverpool fan.
Just wondering what you both think of Mo Salah now. He seems to be very seldom, if ever, dropped. But is he now predictable? Since he got his contract, all of a sudden, it's gone very, very downhill. Thank you. Keep up the good work.
Brilliant question there from Declan. I don't know. I think in general, Liverpool as a collective haven't really clicked, and they've still won. You know, we've not seen the best of Florian Wirtz yet. Nope. You know, there's a lot to go, and I think once that Liverpool clicks and they all find the spaces that they need to be into now, they're a different shaped team.
Yeah.
Then someone like Salah will come into his own, I think.
Yeah, but I think also as well, because he's been so great, when he falls off by 1 or 2%,
so obvious, isn't it?
You can see it. But maybe does he need to come out of the team? Do they need to try? What does the team look like without him? Does he need to come off the bench? Do you need to give him that little spark? I don't know. I think Liverpool can't be judged until after international break. They didn't get all the business they wanted to get done, and obviously Isak's not up to speed. And I know Arsenal fans don't want to hear it, but that's just the truth.
Well, now it's time for the final word, which is a topic we get to choose, and I'm going to choose Spurs because we've not spoken any Spurs tonight. I was there at the game last night, as was talkSPORT. Spurs won, Wolves won. Mm-hmm. Is that a game Spurs should be winning at home, Troy?
Absolutely. Nailed on. That's a coupon buster for a lot of people. I think, I spoke to you about it off air. I think Thomas Frank's having a real difficult time looking at certain players and saying, I don't know if I could trust you.
Yeah.
And when you're balancing Champions League weeks and then back-to-back Premier League games, I think you have to rotate the team, but I just don't think he's sure he can put everybody in. We saw that last time out against Brighton, where he had to put Simons in straight away to try and change it. He probably didn't want to play him in this kind of game, but he ends up playing 2 holding midfielders and Bergvall getting forward. I just think he looks at his bench and thinks, I ain't sure, mate. I really do.
Yeah.
I really do. Do you think they should be winning those games? I know the Premier League is hard. Like every game's difficult, but those games.
If you want to be in the top 4,
Yeah.
you have to win those games. You got to win all your home games, really. And losing those 2 points last night could be the difference of finishing in a Champions League place or not.
Mhm.
So you have to go and win them. My one criticism of Frank will be, like you said, playing 2 holding midfielders. He done it at home against Bournemouth. It didn't work. He done it at home against Wolves. It didn't work. We find it difficult to break teams down. One thing I want to quickly ask you about is Brennan Johnson.
Yeah.
What do you make of him as a player? Because he gets quite criticised a lot by some of the Spurs fans. I personally don't think his best position is out wide. I think he's someone that arrives in the box quite late. He has a knack at finishing. I could see him in a much more central position, not necessarily number 10.
Yeah.
But he could play up
through
front.
the middle.
Yeah.
Maybe. I think.
I wanted to ask you.
Yeah, I think he's too hot and cold. I think he's a good, talented player. I think he's had some big moments, obviously, for Spurs.
Scores goals.
He scores goals, but if you look, it's patches.
Yeah.
He scores like 6 in 12, and then don't score for 15 games. Do you know what I mean? I think the deliverer. I think he's a sensitive lad as well. Like when you're getting grief online as a footballer and you delete your Instagram, to me that shows immaturity. That shows that you actually care what people think. We're both in the public eye. You get negative comments. It's part and parcel of the game. The reality is you're still living your dream. No matter what anyone says. So I think he's a sensitive lad. I think he needs to have an arm around him. And I think he needs to be told and made to feel that he's the best thing ever to get the best out of him. Unfortunately, Thomas Frank, while he is someone who'll give his arm around you, he's trying to move this Spurs team forward, trying to win consistently. And I think that's where he may struggle to be there long term.
Yeah. It's very difficult. And again, this is why we saw earlier today to round the show off nicely, to bring it back to Arsenal, who won impressively today at St. James's Park, when you've got to find a way.
Yes.
That is what makes the difference between top 4 places and the rest of the league, because there are going to be times where teams just park the bus.
Of course there's.
And they've got every right to do that. I know we've heard fans moan up before, but they park the bus. You're better than us, so we have to combat that. And you know what? In this league, you can be, again, as Wolves were yesterday, great with a little set piece, do something on the counter, get a corner, and all of a sudden you score. You just set back up again in your double low block, and you can win a game. It's up to you as a team to break that down. Luckily for Spurs yesterday, Palhinha pulls out a little bit of class.
Yeah.
Again, what you said earlier about Eze, outside the box.
Yeah.
I know just inside, but, outside the box, shooting.
Yeah.
Causing another problem. Give them something else to think about.
Because it's too predictable now, isn't it? Everyone goes forward. They go to the wide areas. Cut inside, cross or shoot. Or they'd slip a ball in behind and then it's a 50-50. But I just think where it's at right now, we just need to get back to a few pop shots from the edge of the box. Again now, with all the rules, shoot. If it hits someone's hand, it's probably a penalty. It might take a deflection. But what it does, it makes the other team think. And I just think the creative spark is starting to come back now. And, Spurs have got a tough couple of weeks coming up.
Yeah.
And hopefully after international break, they can start to get bodies back fit. And then we can really judge Thomas.
Well, it's a massive game against Leeds next Saturday.
Leeds have been really good, by the way.
12:30 kickoff at Ellen Road. That's going to be, pretty spicy. And, you've got the likes of Chelsea and Liverpool playing each other next weekend. So the people around you possibly taking points off of one another. Crystal Palace have a difficult journey to Everton next Sunday. They're obviously around us at the moment. Bournemouth, they host Fulham on Friday night. But Bournemouth at home, I see a Bournemouth win there. If Spurs can sit in the top 4 going into international break, it's a fantastic start for Thomas Frank. And it's going to get tougher and tougher.
Absolutely.
As we play some of the bigger teams. Listen, Troy, always a pleasure.
Appreciate you, bro.
That's all from us today. But the talkSPORT Breakfast Show is back tomorrow from 6 a.m. with Super Ali McCoist. It was his birthday in the week. Happy birthday, Ali. And Jeff Stelling being joined by 7-time Ryder Cup winner Lee Westwood, a major winning golfer, Danny Willett. But if you need some music in your life, go to the talkSPORT app, swipe across to friend of the show, Chris Evans on Virgin Radio. And don't forget, talkSPORT brings you live national coverage of Everton hosting West Ham in the Premier League from 7. I think producer Ross is going to that one, isn't you? Look at him. He's excited to see the new stadium. The final word returns next Sunday from 6:30 as Pardew returns with a suntan to the studio. But coming up next here on talkSPORT, it's time for the latest from across the continent on Trans-Europe Express. From me and Troy, good night.